Welcome back to today's video. So today this is going to be a little bit different than my previous videos. Today I want to speak to those of you who are involved in the occult. I want you to not only listen carefully to what I say, but fully take it in, not because I'm just guessing, but because I already know what you have experienced. My name is Dwayne, and this is Occult to Christ. At some point, you realize something. This is not just symbolic. It is not psychological. It is real. The experiences are real. The responses are real. The presence is real. And that is what kept you going. You did not just stay in it because it was fake. You stayed because something responded. At some point, you asked a question. You set an intention or reached out in some way and something answered back. Not vaguely, not symbolically, but specifically, in a way that made you stop and think, wow, this is real. And once that happens, everything changes. You are no longer dealing with ideas. You're dealing with something that interacts, something that responds back, something that feels aware. From that moment on, you're not just curious anymore. You are engaged, and that is what pulls you deeper. Because now you are not trying to see if it is real. You already know it is. Now you are trying to understand it, control it, and go further with it. And that is where the line gets crossed. See, once you cross that line, you do not go back to seeing it as just a game. You're no longer just curious anymore, because now you have experienced something that answered you, something that responded in a way you cannot explain. So you go back to it, not out of curiosity anymore, but out of intention. You start asking more, testing more, trying to get clearer answers, maybe stronger responses, more consistency. And over time, you begin to rely on it, not just for answers, but for direction, for insight, for a sense of control. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to trust it more than your own thoughts, more than anything else. That is where it shifts. It is no longer something you are exploring. It becomes something you are depending on. And once you depend on it, it starts to shape you. But there is something else, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. That quiet voice in the back of your mind, that moment when everything gets still and something in you says, this isn't right. It's not loud or dramatic. It's just clear. And I know you felt it. You felt it the first time something actually responded. You felt it when things got more intense. You felt it in the moments you cannot explain. That hesitation, that check in your spirit, that feeling that something about this is not what it claims to be. But you pushed past it. You told yourself it was fear, or you told yourself it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe you told yourself you just needed to go a little deeper to understand it. But that voice did not just go away. It just got quieter because you stopped listening to it. And even now, it's still there. You just have to be willing to listen. And I know something else about you, and I know this sounds crazy, maybe you might not even believe in God. You might not identify as a Christian, and you might not follow any religion at all. But you cannot deny what you have experienced. You have seen it, you've felt it, you've interacted with something that has responded back to you, and that is why you stayed. Because you are not just looking for belief, you're looking for something real, something that gives you answers, something that gives you purpose, something that makes sense of what you are experiencing. And the occult seems to offer that. It feels like you're stepping into something deeper and hidden, something other people cannot see. But here's the truth. Just because something is real does not mean it is from God. And just because something responds does not mean it has your best interest in mind. You are experiencing something real, but you're drawing the wrong conclusion about what it is. You are not just interacting with energy. You're not just tapping into some hidden knowledge. You are not accessing something that's neutral. You are interacting with something that has awareness, something that responds not randomly, but intentionally. It answers, it reacts, and it adapts to you. It gives you just enough to keep you coming back. That is not passive. That is not impersonal. That is something with intent. And I know that because I was not just observing it. I was engaging with it repeatedly and directly every day. I saw how it responded. I saw how it led. I saw how it pulled me deeper over time. And I recognized the pattern. It does not give you truth. It gives you fragments of truth. Just enough to feel real. Just enough to feel powerful. But never enough to bring peace, because that is not its purpose. Its purpose is to keep you engaged, to keep you seeking, to keep you dependent. And the deeper you go, the more it takes from you. And this is where it starts to show. Not on the outside at first, but inside. Your peace is not the same. You can feel that. Your mind does not feel as clear as it used to. There is more noise, more tension, more thoughts that do not settle. And I know you have noticed it. There are moments where you feel pulled in different directions. Moments where something just feels off, but you cannot fully explain why. You might not even say it out loud, but you know it is there. That underlying weight, that pressure you carry, even when nothing is happening. And the more involved you become, the more that feeling grows. Because what you are engaging with does not bring peace. It disrupts it. It does not bring clarity. It distorts it. And deep down, you have already felt that. But walking away feels harder now than ever before. And you know that because this is not just something you do anymore. It's part of how you think. It's part of how you see the world around you. It's part of how you understand what you have experienced. Letting it go does not feel like walking away from a practice. It feels like losing something real, like you're losing a piece of you. Something you have invested time in, something you have built understanding around, something that has become familiar. And part of you does not want to let that go. Part of you still wants answers. You still want clarity. You still want to go deeper into it. And at the same time, there was another part of you that knows something is not right. And those two things are pulling against each other. That is the tension you feel deep inside. That is why you have not walked away. But here's the truth. You already know something is not right. You have felt it. You have questioned it. You have tried to explain it away, but it keeps coming back. Because deep down, you know this is not leading you where you thought it would. What feels like understanding is not bringing clarity. What feels like power is not bringing peace. What feels like control is not setting you free. And that is not by accident, because this does not want to lead you to truth. It wants to lead you away from it. If you are in this, you are not dealing with something neutral. And you are not in control the way you think you are. So instead of just hearing this, I want you to do something. With the same sincerity, the same focus, and the same intention that you have put into everything you have practiced, not as a joke, not as a ritual, but honestly, call on Jesus. Not in a formula, not in a performance, but in full sincerity. Ask him to reveal himself to you if he is real. Ask him to guide you. Ask him to show you the truth. And if you are on the wrong path, ask him to pull you out of it and set you on the right one. And then watch what happens. But I urge you to do it sincerely. Because if you are truly seeking truth, you owe it to yourself to seek him. I'm not speaking to you from the outside. I was where you are. I walked that same path. I listened to the same voices that you are speaking to, and I followed them deeper until it almost destroyed me. Jesus Christ pulled me out of that. And I know he can pull you out too.